What's up, guys? This is a new episode of the New Frontier, and the topic today is self-improvement through self-education, and upskilling yourself, and using different mediums like books. Yeah.
I always say, I feel like I heard it somewhere, but I truly believe like self-education is self-preservation.
Yeah.
So we always have to be learning something new in order to up our skills and learn new things. And today I'm going to talk about a couple of books that I recommend that you guys read or listen to. So if you're not a reader, you can still buy audiobooks and you can listen to them when you're traveling, when you're in a taxi, whatever you're doing, when you're exercising, when you're walking, or when you're driving. I really believe like reading just like opens your mind like
It really does.
like crazily. Okay, so so I'm going to talk about a few books that I were recommended to me, and maybe you guys will check them out.
Yeah.
So there is a book called Win Without Pitching Manifesto by Blair Enns. So basically this book is for creatives and people that run creative businesses.
Yeah.
So it talks about, you know how in business, in advertising, you're always pitching stuff before the client approves and stuff.
Yeah.
He talks about how it's kind of like we're not looked at as experts, like some clients expect us to pitch and solve all their business problems before they've paid us.
True.
It's kind of like you are a ballet dancer or an actor or performer, so you have to go perform for them
First,
and
then
then
you get
maybe
paid.
they'll hire you. So which is kind of not that we're shading performers, but it's kind of like it discredits you as a professional and an expert.
Yeah.
Versus when you think about yourself like a doctor or a lawyer, they will not give you advice until you've paid them. Just to consult with the lawyer, you have to pay them so that then they can listen to your story, then prescribe a solution and to diagnose.
Yeah.
So it talks about how to prepare yourself so that whenever a client comes to you and says, pitch to me and I'll see if I'll choose your work, you need to say, no, I'm not gonna pitch to you. I'm gonna charge you for this discovery, finding out what your business problems are, and then prescribing a solution. And if you want to buy the solution, then you can pay me more for that solution. So I know sometimes pitching you can't avoid. Sometimes advertising and other businesses are like super hectic. But I think it's very important to think about what we do as experts and actually not to part with your thinking, because as creatives you want to solve people's problems, but you forget that you're undermining yourself. So sometimes it's good to think of yourself as a doctor or a lawyer and say, you know what, if you want my help, I can come and consult, and then so that's one of the biggest takeaways from Win Without Pitching. And it's a very short book, but
Yeah, and I think what's interesting about that, I haven't read the book, so I'm definitely going to be reading that book. Is from what I'm getting from you is the importance of creativity and time. So because we don't really factor time in much, we only factor time when we are billing by the hour.
When we're actually doing the work.
Exactly. Once everything is approved, but the time, and also clients, I think we also need to start like educating clients about the time, the process, because it's a process for you to even reach a point. To even solve a problem, it takes a lot of steps. So that's a definite must read for me personally, and thank you for that. And I hope you guys are also going to be reading that book.
And another book that I love about networking is called Never Eat Alone by Keith Ferrazzi. So this book, I'm just giving you a quick summary, and you guys can decide if you want it or not, want to buy it or listen to it. So basically it talks about networking, how whenever you network with people, try to help them first and find out what their motivations are before you start selling to them, and actually develop like a relationship with people that you work with, your clients. Find out what they like, try to be friends with them. Obviously not like too friendly, but try to get to know them and also expand your network. Try to know people outside of your network. Go to conferences, speak at conferences, help out at conferences, so you in the inside of the conference when the conference is happening, so you can have better access to your networking. Make a list of all the people that you know and group them in terms of, this is a list of my ex-colleagues, my designers, my animators, where do they live in terms of discipline, and where do they live, so that when you're in their town you can call them. Because I think one of the biggest takeaways is that the person that you want to meet is always like 3 people away or 6 people away. I think they call it the 6 degrees of separation.
Yeah, for
sure. Make a list of all the people you know, and then if you help them up front, they can connect you to the people that you need to know. And also, one of the biggest things, I think it was like, if you come up with goals for your business or whatever you're doing, try to say like your business needs to get to this point. Try to attach people to these goals. Like, in order for me to do this, I need to meet this person. Write down those people's names. Is it a celebrity? Is it like a CEO? How can you get to meet those people? And then try to work your way and think about, how can I get to meet him? Where does he hang out? Do I know someone who might know him? So you're attaching people to your goal so that you can expand your network. So it's a very different framework of thinking, like, networking is important, how to do it gracefully, and not just to come and just like hearts out to someone and say, hey, I've got this thing, please take it.
Just take it because I'm selling it. You shouldn't really approach it with that arrogance. And I think that book definitely has some really interesting frameworks that are very relevant and current as well. Because we live in the social media age. Networking and navigating spaces is slightly different from how people probably were doing it 15 years ago. So it's very relevant, it's fresh, it's current, and you're definitely going to get a lot of gems from it.
Yeah, definitely. Another book that I haven't read this one, but okay, so this is a better book. It's called Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. So this book is about negotiating. So this guy was like an FBI negotiator, and he's negotiated with like terrorists to like everybody, like criminal and people that you can ever think of. And he uses his negotiating skills to teach you how to negotiate, for your salary, for you buying a car and stuff. Like one of the most basic things that he talks about, if you're ever pitching for a job, instead of saying like, I'm gonna charge you 1,000 rand, give a range. That's a technique. Give a range. I'll charge between 1,000 rand and 5,000 rand. And then wherever your client lands, if they land at 5,000 rand, then okay, cool, you take it. It's like, okay, cool.
The money.
So because usually when you're negotiating with someone and you say, no, I want 2,000, they're gonna bring you down. So always anchor higher and negotiate higher in terms of what you're asking for, and then maybe you'll land in the middle, or even land there at the top.
And just to add on that, like, so what, for instance, like I do and what we do as WeDigitize is like with certain projects and services, we kind of tier them up. Like, so there's tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Tier 1 is the most basic, and it's between 3,000 and 6,000. Tier 2 is between 6.5 and 14,000. Tier 3, like that, what I mean? So you give that to a client, and then they see like under each tier, like what is offered, and also that also guides them. Maybe they may say, I thought I needed for instance, let's say from a perspective of a website, I thought I needed a 10-page website. Whereas not really, and also looking at their budget. So the tier approach also does help, and the range thing is powerful. Don't sleep on putting a range, because if you don't do that, like as Longster was saying, it's like the people always try to negotiate you down. Negotiating up from a client perspective, now that is some rare stuff.
And you can use the stuff in different ways. From negotiating your salary when you're getting a new job, we negotiate everywhere we go. You're going to buy something, there's different techniques. Like just one example is that, when someone really wants you to take something, they'll say that, oh, you know what, but this is fair. And they use the word fair to disarm you from like fighting them. But this book talks about, like, when someone says something is fair, you must ask them and like, okay, it looks like you're willing to explain to me why this is fair. And then if they can't, then obviously then you'll be able to negotiate for what you want it for. So there's a lot of techniques that you can use in your business, in your work life, in your relationships. There's too many for me to touch on, but it's a really great book just for personal development, even not just even professional business, but personal development, to open your mind in terms of
And you see, this is the type of treasure and value that you get from reading, And the one thing that I have to personally state is that I get a lot of the information that I know from different industry sources, thought leadership platforms on certain things, right? However, like, reading has been something that I've done, but it hasn't really been an important part. Now that I'm fully into the startup and entrepreneurship journey, I'm actually left with no other option but to read, because you are always solving different challenges and problems, and it is through books where I get to learn about frameworks like that, how to network, how to manage relationships, and opening my mind, that's where you get the juice, the value that, like, it will help you navigate life as an entrepreneur or any type, even if you are a 9-to-5er, like, it's power. There's too much treasure there, and these are people that are just genuine in crafting these stories to help and improve just humanity and just people in general who are just interested in doing stuff and being active,
And I mean, if you're not a reader, you can listen to audiobooks. I listen to a lot of audiobooks because it's as I said, it's much quicker. I can, every time I commute to wherever I'm going, I'm listening to something. I'm doing a chore, I'm listening to something. You can buy audiobooks on Google Play. Usually around like $200, whether it's an ebook that goes into your phone or your tablet or your computer, or you can buy books on Amazon, or you can, if you're afraid of buying stuff online, you can buy a Google Play card at like every Pick and Pay or Checkers. Usually, like, there's those iTunes cards, Google Play cards. You can buy one for like $500, and then you go into your phone, you log onto your Google Play app, and then you buy an audiobook from there if you don't want to enter your credit card details online, just so that you have a credit and you can buy it and download it into your phone.
And that's pretty much like what it is. Reading books, novels, self-help books is really a superpower, to be honest.
And anything that I always get like a lot of DMs from people saying, I want to do this, and I'm just like, if you actually thought of, like, if I want to make movies, if I want to learn about design, there's always these like books that you can get. Like, find a book, just go on Google. Google is your friend, and say, I want a book about film directing, and go read that book or listen to the audiobook, because like there's so much lessons that are packed within that book that will help you in whatever you want to learn. Because a lot of people always say, I want to do this, but I don't know how. But they never think, oh, actually, I can go read. I can go to the library. I can buy a book. And obviously, when you're buying these books, you are investing in yourself. So obviously, sometimes cheaper than going to study, but like reading, you're investing in yourself. And if you're not willing to invest in yourself, I don't know how you want other people to invest in you and your dreams. So I think it's very important to like, find a way to read. And if you don't read, listen to audiobooks. It will like open your mind and put you on. And I think for now, I won't talk about all the books because there's so many, but my last recommendations for startups and creatives is to read a book called Tribes by Seth Godin, The Dip by Seth Godin. I know I'm plugging Seth Godin a lot.
He's amazing.
Crush It by Gary Vee, The Lean Startup by Eric Ries, and The Compound Effect. There's so many.
These are amazing books, by the way.
The Business of Design. There's so many, guys. But this is our list for now. So check it out if you can. Google it on Amazon or takealot.com or Google Play or Audible. So wherever you can, just try to get that information and read it.
Definitely. And what we're going to do for you guys is we're actually going to have a Google Sheet with like a list of all the books that we are recommending and some of the books that are not mentioned in this video, and then you can just familiarize with yourself with those books, and then you can go check them out,
and tell us, what are your favorite books? What books do you think we should read? We'll even put a link in the description of the different books, and then you can just check them out. But I think that's it for the video.
Shout out.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Peace.
Oh yeah, and please subscribe.
Subscribing is important because we're trying to build a community of like-minded creatives, entrepreneurs, just movers and shakers. So subscribing is gonna really, really help you and us grow and deliver more value to everyone. So,
and drop a comment and tell us what you think, guys. And until next time, peace.